Good morning. So nice to have you joining us. Hope you're looking forward to a fun weekend ahead. For those of you who are pet owners out there, maybe the idea of a Saturday morning comes with plans to take your dog for a nice long walk or two as you enjoy the weekend together. Brad Wagoner joins us this morning. He is half of the partnership at Cold Nose College. We've had a chance checking in with Lisa, his wife, the last couple of weeks, but this morning it's Brad's turn with his dog Cody. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me again.
I'm glad to have you, and I mentioned the walks specifically because I have a golden retriever and I take her for a walk 3 times a day. And the more I take her for a walk, the more I can see her engaging really with me, picking up. So Cody is a great example of what you can do to get a dog into a healthy lifestyle, because he's 15 now, isn't he, Brad?
He is 15, and we do take morning walks, but at 15 he doesn't walk quite as far as we used to. I try to avoid steeper hills with him now because some age-related arthritis, but he still gets out for the same amount of time. And for him, that's so important because he gets to engage his nose and just investigate the world through his nose.
Okay, let me ask you something about that, with them engaging the world through their nose. I read something recently that a dog's sense of smell is something ridiculous, like maybe as much as 300 times or something, a person's.
Or closer to 1 million. I don't know the exact number, but yeah, they diminish their visual ability may diminish, or their physical abilities may diminish. Their noses stay pretty strong.
So if you are he's smelling the food, his nose is very strong. If you are taking them for a walk and they want to stop and sniff something, should you avoid jerking them but instead pause and let them enjoy?
No, I always avoid jerking the leash, but especially if they're onto a scent. It's like you reading an email halfway through and somebody comes and closes the computer lid on you. I just think it's kind of rude, but they're taking in the world through their nose. I've had clients before say, I'll take my dog for a 5-mile walk, and they're still too full of energy when I get home. And my suggestion is take the same amount of time, but only walk 1/4 of a mile. Let your dog sniff every blade of grass, every rock. It's just so mentally enriching for them that it's just important.
I figured you were going to use that word at some point, the mentally enriching, because one of the things you wanted to touch on, Lisa has her dog, but you have Cody. You are definitely bonded specifically with him for all these 15 years. So you have been very engaging with him and keeping his mind sharp. Now that he's getting older, you're trying new tricks, if you will, to keep his mind strong and alert.
Well, you certainly can teach an old dog new tricks. We try to keep the training up a little bit, but with Cody, his hearing has gone, so he's mostly deaf. So something I think all pet owners should be aware of, or just to keep in the back of their mind, is when you're teaching your dog behaviors, we usually put those on a verbal cue because we're a verbal species. But if we can add some sort of a hand signal to that as well, when they lose their hearing, we can still communicate through visual signals.
Oh, really? So
sure.
Is he barking at you right now, Brad, because he wants a treat, or did that movement that you just did mean something to him?
No, he's just grumbling because he knows I've got food. And actually, let me give him a Kong. This is a small one, but it's got some food stuffed inside. And again, it's something that's going to keep him busy as we chat. It's also going to work his brain figuring out how to get the food out of the inside of that Kong.
You provided us with a great little video with something you call the Muffin Game. What is that?
Oh, the Muffin Tin Game is something that most people have a muffin tin in their house, in their kitchen. Simply you put a few pieces of kibble in each of the cups of the muffin tin. In the beginning, just let the dog eat those out. After a while, you can put a few pieces of kibble in and then put a tennis ball on top of it. They'll figure out they can smell the food in there, and they have to learn to pick up the tennis ball, take it out of the muffin tin to get to the food underneath. Again, keeps their mind busy. How can I get this? There's what we call the seeking system. We have it too when we go shopping, we're hunting, we're gatherers. Dogs, it engages that seeking system in their brain when they're trying to figure out how to get to that food inside. So it's a fun game to play. If you got a golden retriever, you mentioned, tennis balls may be a little over the top for a golden sometimes, but something you can put on top of that muffin tin that the dog has to remove to get to the treat underneath.
I'll tell you what our dog will do too, is she will put her paw, I would be willing to bet you, on that muffin tin and just hold it in place and then go to town with all of it.
I've seen some dogs I've seen will just flip it upside down and scatter everything everywhere. So it's a game that you can play with your dog to hold it steady if need be.
But
another great food game to engage that seeking system is when the dog goes out maybe in the morning to do their morning ritual outside. You hide a few bits of kibble around the living room, maybe some by the sofa, over by the bookcase. And when the dog comes in, after a while they learn, oh, I got to go find it. And they'll start searching the room looking for those little bits of food. Again, we're using their brain, engaging that seeking system, something that will help.
You mentioned Cody's arthritis a little bit. He's having a harder time walking, so that's been limited for him now. Dogs, I guess, don't reason the way we do. They can't always understand what the years are doing to them. So is it comforting for them as they age to have their owner close by?
I think so. I think always dogs are social creatures. They want us around. The important thing as our dogs get older is to definitely talk with your veterinarian. As dogs reach those senior years, instead of an annual vet check, twice a year is often recommended for senior dogs. If you notice a behavior change in your dog, many times that's pain related. And so, again, having a vet check to see if there's any arthritis there. You may notice he may be calling him old grumpy old man. Well, maybe he's grumpy because something hurts.
Right.
So having a vet check is important.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I'm going to have to wrap it up, and I can hear the other dog barking, so I know you're going to get pulled away before you know it. But he sure is a good boy, Brad, and it's fun to see him again after all these years.
Well, thanks for having us. It's always good to be here, and hopefully Cody will stick around a while longer and we can do it again.
I hope that he will too, and I'm really enjoying these visits because y'all are just a wealth of knowledge up there at Cold Nose College. I'm going to give folks your website information because even before COVID hit, they were doing a lot of sessions like this virtually. They have clients from all around the world actually who take advantage of their expertise when it comes to training your dog. So if you would like to college.com, their phone number there on your screen as well, 828-644-9148, and talk to either Brad or Lisa about getting you bonded with your dog in the way that you want to be. We're back after this.
Attention foodies. With this fusion of prime rib steak, melted provolone, and other magical melty stuff, Arby's is now officially a fusion restaurant. Chef Smooch, Arby's, we have the meats.